Kyle Gilberts. Welcome to my live call, and it's Friday night, Free Friday. So this is a night, every Friday night at 9 o'clock Eastern on Facebook Live, I answer your questions. Those of you that are in the network marketing profession, entrepreneurial profession, and for those of you that do not know me, I've been involved 40 years in network marketing, and I share a lot of what I've learned in my journey on these live calls. I started totally broke. I had to sell a junk truck to get started, put $200 into my business. In the last almost 28 years now, I've been full-time in network marketing. I'm going to acknowledge some people joining us tonight. Friday night, I was right about that. Delroy says, yep, 2 a.m. He's a night person. I used to work with a leader like that. I still do, actually. And she was like that when I would go to Singapore when I first met her. And oh my gosh, man, she'd be like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, we get, hey, Mark, nice to see you in Huntsville, Alabama. We would get done doing meetings, presentations, and then we're going to dinner around, I don't know, 12:30 at night, something like that. Finally wrap it all up by 2:30. Anyway, so Crabjot, nice to see you. Kurt, nice to see you as well. So tonight, Friday night, you can ask a question. I'm going to answer or do my best, try to answer some of these questions that some of you posted when I made a post earlier today, Friday, today. And then I'm going to try to answer that. And if you have a question, I don't know if George is in the house yet, but anyway, I'll try to answer your question. And so I'm going to start with John Johnson in Baltimore. And John gave me the idea to title this video, because I always do that every Friday, look at somebody's question and give that video a title to it regarding that question. He says, if a person reaches out to you and then you find out they're in the same company, how much time would you spend with that person because they had a sponsor who never really helped them? Well, you notice John's words, they had a sponsor who never really helped them. So I can sense empathy in those words, compassion in those words, and John is just a good guy. And so it's hard for John to say no, because he is a good guy. You're a good guy, John. And that's the problem with good people, isn't it? Because good people want to do good things when there's no benefit to them at all for doing so. Okay? I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying that's just the way it is. And that's the challenge with good people who spend a lot of their time on things that will never yield them a future or an income. I'm not saying don't do it. I mean, I've helped a lot of sideline people. I sure have. I sure have. Well, look, I mean, I've helped a lot of people that are in other companies. So here's what you have to do, John, is just, you're still in the building mode. You're still trying to get your space shuttle launched, okay? So you're still, it's just like the space shuttle. Did that launch today? I don't know. I didn't keep up with it, but I know they thought they had better weather, and I don't know if they launched that shuttle in Florida, but the thing is, I look at it that way, that you're still in the launch phase of trying to really get your business going. So the thing is, you cannot spend a lot of time with people that are already in your company. Well, you think I would check my iPad before I came down here, but I'm going to send an SOS call. What does Ray Higdon, my friend, say? Move forward imperfectly? That's going to be one of those things right now.
Hey.
There is a charger right below the table there. I need it. I'm at 10%. Thank you.
I'm coming.
We have a crisis. I'm at 10%. Okay. So now we're going to go back to John. So John, what I would do is you just can't afford to spend a lot of time. If you can spend some time, help somebody out, nothing wrong with it. If you're spending a lot of your time training people that are in a different line in your company, you won't be able to do that. That won't be productive. What you can do is try to get that person to reach upline, go upline. Because it's not your responsibility to train them. It's the people who get paid on that person. It's their responsibility to train that person. But at the same time, if you're able to build your business and you're able to lend a helping hand, nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's just, again, you're just a compassionate, good guy. How you doing, Kim? Nice to see you. And so then let's go on to, did George ever show up? Oh, hey. Oh, Hajime Mashite. Someone from Tokyo just joined. Let me see. And when you go to bed, ayasumi nasai. Okay. So then we also have Michael Smith. What are the best strategies for reaching out to unemployed business leaders now? There are a lot of them. Well, I think that's right. There are a lot of them. I noticed that the housing market, houses aren't selling. How many real estate agents out there are not making any money? A lot of real estate is, overpriced immensely. I mean, even in this area, it's like $300 a square foot. I could build a nice house for 120. I mean, so it's going to be a fire sale eventually, because it's got to crash, in my opinion. I believe it will. I think it'll be worse than 2008. Gary in Manila, nice to see you. And so the thing about it is, yeah, some people are really in a pickle, aren't they? Also, masseuses. I used to get a massage every Thursday for the last 10 years. I haven't seen my masseuse in almost 2 months. So there's a lot of professions that are threatened. So when it comes to a strategy, I wouldn't overthink it. And I wouldn't think that you have to have one approach for a real estate agent, another approach for a masseuse, another approach for somebody who worked somewhere else. It doesn't really matter. I think we overthink it and complicate it when we do that. The fact of the matter is, you have a proven business model that will yield incredible residual income if they're open to it. And that's what I would ask them. Are you open to it? Are you open to taking a look at it? If they're not open to it, then move on, because give them time. When they don't have money to buy food, I think they're going to get more teachable, more coachable, and more open to it. But I would not overthink it, Michael. Yeah, that's it. Say less, make more. Money, that is. Say less, make more. Use the tools, and that's all you want to. That's all you want to do is see if they're open to taking a look at a proven business model that will yield incredible residual income. So Mark Bosley, he's in Huntsville, Alabama. He says, I hear people or gurus all the time say there are billions of people on Facebook. What might I specifically say to one of them to open a conversation about my business? Well, again, Mark, you know, I'm not going to say there's an art to social media. I don't think there's an art. And by the way, if you have a question, post it, and George will screenshot it and then send it to me. Anyway, and then I'll answer it when I get done with these people, with their great questions. But with Mark, again, back to Facebook, I wouldn't say there's an art to it. Obviously, there's some people that do it very well. But there's also a lot of noise because people have been inundated, think about it, with the amount of information that comes at them about every 10 seconds of the day. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? So I would say that it's not the same kind of territory that it used to be, when it was very easy to go in there if you never did lives and you didn't brand yourself. When people started branding themselves, there was a certain time people paid more attention to it. But I'm just saying, but it's become so much that people are just getting bombarded with stuff that what you're going to have to do is do it differently. And that is, you're going to have to make a strong effort to reach out to them, take an interest in them, comment on their posts, engage with them. Yes, we're talking about rapport, but not endless rapport. But you're going to have to build some rapport. You're going to have to, before you pop the question, hey, I don't know if you're open to it, but I'm involved in a business that may or may not bring you value in your life. So if you're open to it, I'd like to send you a video. However you want to say it at the time, to that person, you have to get to know them. I mean, if you can spam all the links out there you want, nobody's gonna look at it, nobody's gonna pay attention. People resent it. So the thing is, people don't want to feel like they're a sounding board or they're just somebody, a means to an end. That what they want to feel from you is that you are interested in them as a person, that you value them as a human being. I think that's lacking in social media. And I think, so for all these people that are, they look at a few people who've done well in social media and in building some of their business. It's not as easy as it looks. Keep in mind, marketing takes time. So we talked about network marketing, okay? So networking is your warm market. It's the people that you know, the people that you connect to. You move fast in that arena and you generate income in that network. Marketing takes time, but just understand you can still be very successful, but what you have to do is post content people are interested in and engage with them. So then Michael Lenz, he asked the question, how much, and he's, let me see, Michael, where are you? You're in Denmark, okay. How much contact did you have with Crosslines when you were building at the beginning, and how much now? Well, so we're talking about 21 years ago when I built in my last company. So I did not contact with Crosslines. I was too laser focused on building my own business. This goes back to John's question, should I work with other people in other lines that are not my downline? So I didn't do that because I was so focused on building, prospecting, sponsoring, working with leaders. I didn't have time for that. Now, when my business was well established, and then I had some people reach out to me, I didn't mind helping them out if I could. I would. I can remember last summer I did when I was traveling in Asia, in 3 different cities in one country. I did some meetings for another leader back in the United States because she's too old now, to get out. So I helped her out. So I didn't mind doing that. I didn't mind doing that. The people needed somebody from the U.S. to show their face and do some events. So I was happy to help. And then he asked, how many products beside your flagship product should you concentrate on? I mean, when getting new frontlines started. Okay, so when you're getting new people started, you should always just get them to focus on your flagship product. If it could be 2 or 3 others, it just depends on how those products support the flagship product. If they're totally opposite to the flagship product, let's just say it's a wellness product you're teaching, and then the second product is going to be skincare. No, I don't think so. No, you need to get them to focus on one thing. I'm going to tell you, when I started 21 years ago, we only had one product. And I'll tell you what, we couldn't keep it. I mean, it was just flying out of the warehouse. So it was much easier to build with a single focus. But once you start, looking and promoting multiple products, and if you do that to new people starting, you're going to kill them right away. Because they're going to see it as complex. They're going to feel like they have to be an expert in the area of health, and I mean, yeah, I can think of another company. I won't say their name out of respect, okay? But I mean, 22 years ago, it's an essential oil company. And that was the thing I told the owner of that company. I said, you got 100 oils, but what do you focus on here? There's no focal point here. There's no flagship. That's the thing that you really need in your company is a flagship product. And you lack that. And I suggested him what to do. And then I would say, and then have a directory guide for your back-end products. That's the oils. And that way it's not confusing. People don't feel like they have to be a doctor or a PhD to be able to promote what you do. Anyway, so let me see what happened there. Darn. Okay, there we go. So yeah, stay focused on that flagship. And by the way, what you can do is just understand this. If you don't know what your top products are, like your top 10, if I was to ask you that right now, all of you, write down on a list your top 10 products in your company, would you be able to do it? Okay? Would you be able to write down? If your mind goes blank, there you go. But there's one thing good about that is that's what's selling. That is what's selling. You may have more than 10 products, but it doesn't matter. But that's what's selling is your top 10. But your flagship is what you need to look at it this way. It's like, and you ladies can appreciate this. I know because 2 years ago, I took the family. We were staying in Manhattan, and on Fifth Avenue. So walking down there, there's like a beautiful dress shop. And guess what they put in the window? A beautiful dress, right? Now, they sold a lot of things in that store, but did they display all that in their window? No way. They wanted to display that one thing that would make you goo goo gaga. And then she goes right in that door, buys that dress, and in the meantime, they're selling her shoes and hat and scarf and everything else. I mean, she spent 10 grand before the hour is up, right? And that's how it works. So your flagship is the window. And that's the way you should do it. And then use your support tools, whether it's a directory guide about your products or a Facebook group, whatever you use to educate them on the other products. And then so Peter, my good friend here in Denmark, or Belgium actually, Belgium. He says, "Hey Jeff, I got a question. A question I got was, so he's getting this from a prospect. How come that company you're in, that company, your company, is not known in our country, and how will it work out for me?" Well, okay, so here's an illustration, Peter, and this is what I would say to him. If you were going to invest money on the stock market, do you want to invest in a company that is so well known around the world, like Apple, when it's at its peak in the stock market? Is that when you want to go in? Or do you want to go in on the dip? You want to go in on the dip, because when it rises, you're going to make a fortune. I've got friends who've done that. Okay, so the money is made when the band is forming, not when it's marching down the street. The money is made when the band is forming, not when it's marching down the street. Ask your friend that. When would you want to join? Would you want to join when everybody knows about this company? Or would you want to join when very few people know about this company? Oh my gosh, what will it be like? How much money would you be earning after it becomes a known company, like Amway, like Herbalife, like Nu Skin, like Mary Kay Cosmetics? So those are my answers to that. I want to get in when it's not a known company. And keep in mind, it does. I'm not saying it, startup company. I mean, I've been in startup companies that, I'm not getting paid on anymore. I've been in these ground floor opportunities that never got off the ground. That I had titles and trophies that doesn't matter, no longer exist. So that's not your problem. So you got the best of both worlds, because I'm familiar with your company. So you have all the attractiveness of a startup company with none of the risks. So that would be my answer. And then he asks, how to avoid that you put in all the work to bring somebody on board and they eventually sign up with someone else who lives in their own neighborhood. Okay. Get hammer and nails and boards and board up their front and back door. You got them, man. You got them. They can't go nowhere now. I'm just joking with you. Here's the thing. Okay, so how is that person finding these other people? See, what a lot of people make the mistakes, of when they have a prospect, somebody that's really good, and what they do is maybe they put them into a Facebook group, or they just give them too much information about other leaders, possible meetings. And I've seen this where people would invite somebody to go to a meeting, they go to the meeting, they sign up under someone else. Or they get on a Zoom call presentation and then they sign up with someone else. The best thing to do is understand you have all or everything you need. You have everything you need, your tools, everything. You don't need to go beyond that, not in the first phase in that relationship with that person. You need to get them on paper. They need to place an order. And then once you have them doing that, they're yours. Policies protect you. They can't go anywhere. But I've seen a lot of people make that mistake. I've even had people, I get messages and they'll say, hey, I've got this prospect in California. Do you have someone in California that can work with my leader, my person who's going to sign up? I wrote her back, no, you don't ever do that. What are you talking about? That's your job to train that person. Again, putting them sending them an onboarding video where they know what they need to do. You need to tell them what products they need to get on. You need to do the legwork. Always do the legwork. If you're going to send them to someone else to do the legwork, well, I guess they should sponsor them. But just understand, you set yourself up for trouble. So, but anyway, and I'm not saying Peter did that. He didn't. But I just wouldn't introduce them to any other people. Sometimes they find out on their own. They do research, and then, but at the same time, if you have a company with integrity and you go to them and say, hey, I brought this person to the table, and then this person jumped in and took them, sometimes companies will fix that if they're high integrity companies. I remember back, 16, 17 years ago, when we brought in a group of Koreans to Salt Lake City, and one of my leaders was interested. This person that came to see the company, it was a group that came in, but one of the guys in the group, he knew that person, but so did another leader in another line, and she felt like that was her guy. And it was really funny how he pulled right in front of the hotel, got the guy in his car, and drove off to a restaurant. He basically kidnapped him. Oh boy, I got a lot of phone calls about that. Anyway, stuff happens, okay? So Emily says, Emily Stewart, what's your best time management tip for a single mom running two businesses? So what's your best time management tip for a single mom running two businesses? And so Emily, I know that you're into real estate. I looked at your page. So, and obviously real estate, you guys are hurting right now. I mean, a lot of people are. So the thing about it is, but even if you weren't hurting, it wouldn't matter. It's not so much time management as production management in time. Production management in time. So if I was a real estate agent and I was showing houses and appointments, you go out, you meet with somebody to take them and show them a property, you end up having a lot of dead time when you're driving your car to meet that person at that appointment. There's a lot of dead time that you can take advantage of and make phone calls from your car. I'm talking about hands-free microphone, okay? So you got to be safe about that. But even when you're sitting at a property waiting for that person to show up, or after you have already shown that property and you got a little kill time right there, that's when you really need to have your notes organized. So again, you're more productive, right? So that gives you a chance to reach out and call people, call prospects. I know Jordan Adler, who wrote the the book. He wrote the book Beach Money. Jordan, he built his entire business during lunch breaks. He literally did. So that he didn't chit chat with employees. He got his own table during the break and he started calling prospects and also following up on people. And he did it when he got home too. So I know you're busy, but just look for that, where you can multitask. And so it's, and be more productive that way. So then, so Debbie Stone asked the question, phone appointments or Zoom? I try either one. If you can, some people don't have the Zoom app on their phone or their tablet. Some don't. So either way, what I just give it as a choice. Say, do you use Zoom? No, I don't use it. Okay, great. Well, I'll tell you what. How about I call you? Now, here's the other thing too. If they have an Apple phone, you can FaceTime them, right, Debbie? You can do that. So think about that. Okay, you're welcome, Emily. And then Amy asked how to keep leaders that are active but not tech savvy. I have a few leaders that are working amazingly, but then COVID hit. So Amy had some leaders really moving, but COVID-19 hit. We do Zoom calls with them and taught them how to do it, but I don't want them to get frustrated. Yeah, well, here again, you have to have a serious talk with your leaders, and then just tell them, look, do you still want this? How bad? Yeah, I want it. Or how bad do you want it? I want it bad, man. Okay, then you're going to have to learn just a few things. This isn't science. I mean, this is not you going to Harvard to learn some special skill here. We're just talking about download an app, learn how to use it, how to send out a link to somebody. This is the new normal for those people. Is that the words we need to use? The new normal? I think so. Okay, we need to get used to it. I mean, would you throw your future away because you're not willing to learn just a few simple steps? I would ask them that. Are you willing to do that? So just, I know it's not easy for people who are used to doing it more traditional. Well, and then Sheila Bowman, the best strategy to reach the right people. We're helping expand a U.S. company in Asia that is relatively unknown here. So we want to put more focus on fewer reach out markets efforts, methinks. Best strategy to reach the right people. Well, okay, so here's the thing. So you want to put, as you said here, you want to put more focus on fewer outreach market efforts. So in other words, you don't want to bite off any more than you can chew. And that's the thing. You have to really slow down. I've even told my leaders, don't talk to me about countries we're not in. Oh my gosh, I'm in 58 countries. I think our company is in over 60 maybe. I don't know. But then they want to go to the others, the ones that we're not in. Why? You haven't penetrated the markets you're in now. And you got offices, you got support. That's where you need to put your time, is always where your resources are. And if you're wondering which countries to be in, well, then look at the DSA's lineup, starting, from the top, going down. There's China, the United States, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. Interestingly, that Asia is probably about 70% of the production of network marketing. Asia is. It's crazy, but it's true. I'm talking about all Asian countries. So the thing about it is, if that is where the money is, why would I want to go to some country that's at the bottom of the totem pole? That makes no sense. Some people say, yeah, but there's not as much happening there. There's a reason. That's right. Sometimes it's government. Sometimes it's huge import taxation, huge, which just kills the price of the product. It's just out of people's reach. And then the compensation plans, if they're not lucrative enough, if the company is paying out actually a lot, then they're going to really, they just get killed. So, I mean, I love Brazil, but Brazil has got, you talk about huge import taxation, and then also very strict laws about what you can say, and then the government will just kick you out for just the littlest thing. So some companies are going to look at it and say, nope. Why should I go there when I can go to all these other countries that are so easy to work with? Their governments are easy to work with. They have a history of success and productivity. So why should I go to these other countries that don't? And then you got to think that way. I know I thought that way. There are certain countries I just wasn't interested in going to, simply because either it was a lack of population, or just these other things I just mentioned. And so I thought, nope, I'm going to spend my time where it should be spent. Because when you think of the long-term return, the return that you will get for your time invested, you have to think those things out. Anyway, and so then now there is George. What would we do without George? Okay, so And George sent me some. Oh, okay. So, okay, Jack Kramer in Winchester, Tennessee, my hometown. Let me see. How do you overcome Facebook with direct comments about the industry and you're not selling and you're not appearing as recruiting? Okay, okay. Let me work on that. How do you overcome Facebook with direct comments about the industry and you're not selling and you're not appearing as recruiting? Okay. All right. So here's the thing. Of course, I don't know what direct comments you're talking about. I assume that's negative comments about network marketing. It generally is. But again, remember what I said in the past. I don't always say, and I'm not ashamed. I'm very proud that I'm involved in the network marketing profession. But because I understand that there is some prejudice out there or misconception, I might use different words. And so when people ask me, what do you do? Well, I'm involved in dropship marketing. So that's what I've been doing for years, dropship marketing, creating and teaching people how to create residual income working from their homes. You see, I never said anything about network marketing, never said anything about my network marketing company, I never said anything about my product. And but let's go back to Jack's question again. If you're not selling and you're not appearing to be recruiting. Well, that's just it, isn't it? So here's the thing. We create curiosity, and then get them to reach out. But it takes time. Like I said earlier, it takes time to do that. So it's not, again, you're going to find at the end of the day, even when you find somebody in Facebook, you want to tap into their warm market. Again, I go back to my friend Angel Fletcher, and Angel was always good at going into Facebook groups. She wasn't a person who wanted to indulge in attraction marketing. That's just not her thing. So she didn't do much with her page. What she did, Jack, was she went into groups and then gave value. I mean, she went into a lot of groups, but sometimes she was strategic. She might pick a group that is specific to the town that she lives in. Matter of fact, I encouraged somebody the other day to do that. I said, why don't you start building in your own city? You know, you're in a big city like Miami. I said, how many groups fit the demographic that you're interested in? There's a lot. Then why aren't you engaging with those groups, and why aren't you reaching out to those people? There's something about proximity that people like. You know, if you're off in California and they're in Miami, that's okay. I mean, it's not that you can't work together, but they have a better feeling about it when you're right down the street. Not that you're going to get together right now, but just the fact that they know that, they like that. So that's something I would encourage you to do. And then let's see, oh wow, George hit me. All right, let's see here what we got. This is, oh, yeah, and then Adriana, she's gonna have to teach me how to pronounce that correctly. Anyway, Andrina, anyway, she always asks great questions. What is the fastest way to adding people from groups you are a part of? Well, the admin can kick you out if they think you're a hunter. Okay, so keep that in mind. And always be a friend of the admin, okay? Sing their praises, okay? Mail her a chocolate bar or something, you know? I don't know. But anyway, be friends with the admin. So the thing is, when you're adding people from a group and you want to add them to a group, I wouldn't do it that way. I would add them as a friend to your network on your page, because again, as soon as the admin hears about you're going into a group and then you're adding them to another group, she'll kick you out, or he'll kick you out. Many times it's a she. But anyway, the thing is, add them as a friend and get to know them first. I'm not saying endless rapport, but there needs to be some amount of experience that you two have with one another, at least a little bit of that, a little chit chat, get to know one another and say, hey, you may be interested in this group too. You could try that. But the thing is, when you go into the group, always add value to the group, comment on their posts, tell them what you like, send them a personal message, and then a friend request. You know, try that. And then, let's see, and then, oh, okay. So BB says, what do you do when you join a business that you like, but feel somewhat stressed that the company requires you, as an affiliate, to purchase X number worth of products each month just to maintain your status? If you do not sell enough and get enough people to join, you lose your status in that business. I believe that for one to purchase up to $200 worth of products each month is a bit too much. Well, I totally agree with you on that. I think, you know, it's not too smart right now for companies to require that. Really, it's simply because of the FTC and the way they look at people who either buy their ranks, buy their positions. That's something that companies would be very smart to discourage that kind of activity. You know, and it's going to be your call what you do with that, really. I'm not comfortable with that, and I'm not comfortable with companies ever requiring us to do anything. The fact of the matter is, they should be very happy about the fact that we're just, you know, a part of the company, that we're, you know, that we're there. Now, Gloria in Puerto Rico, well, I can't help you there. She's asking me, can I send products to a military base in Germany? Well, I don't know. You'll have to just try it and find out. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. And Paula Rees, just got your book in Spanish, and it's very inspired. Okay. And so, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, my book, Reaching the Peak, is in Spanish now, and I appreciate you saying that. Well, it's been fun getting together with all of you this evening, and I've enjoyed it very much. I appreciate, you know, the time together. So I'll put out some value this weekend. Reach out to me anytime. Love helping all of you guys. Network marketing is fun. It's just fun. I love doing it. I love helping people, and I love seeing people do well. We have a great profession. So the main thing is just do it right. And then George is trying to keep me. So one last question. This is from Carmen in California. How do you create duplication now that network marketing has changed due to social distancing? Well, duplication is all about a system, isn't it? In the event where you have or you don't have the steps, you're not going to have duplication. You know, it's like why does cancer happen in the body? It's anytime the DNA deviates, then you have cancer. Anytime you have members in your team that deviate, you'll have cancer. So again, you must establish the criteria of what those steps are, and then that's it. Once it's established, this is what you do, step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3, this is step 4. And once you do that, then that's what you teach, and people do that. Now, if you're used to doing venue meetings, okay, you can't do venue meetings right now. So who's doing the presentation? Right? The video is. So you remember, friends, I've talked about this. It's like a baseball diamond. You got first base, second base, third base, home, right? If you have too many steps in your process, there will not be duplication. Duplication is the simplicity of doing something with not that many steps required. And if it's much more than 3 or 4, forget it. It's complicated. You know, some people want to complicate it. They want to complicate it for profit. So you have to buy their books. You have to buy their training materials. The Secrets to Network Marketing for only $99 today. Okay? So step 1 is the invitation. That's base 1. First base, the invitation. It's not the presentation. It's seeing if they're open. If they're open to looking at your opportunity. If they're open to earning additional money. It's a yes or no. If it's no, thank you, have a good day. There is no second base. If they say, yes, I'm interested. What is it? Great. Then you're going to go to second base. What's second base? Now, maybe in the past you took them to a meeting, to a venue meeting, but now you're not doing meetings, right? So now, what do? Does that mean you don't have a second base? No, it means you adapt and you change. It's the new normal, and you're going to send a video. And you're going to send them a link. But again, it's how you do that. It's only if they agree to look at it at that time do you send that link. In other words, if I send the link, but they're not going to look at it for maybe a day, 2 days, never, why would I send the link? I want to know when they've seen the video. And second, they know, because I told them, that I'm going to call them after they saw that video. If it's a 10-minute video and they say they can look at it now, I'm calling them in 15 minutes, okay? That's what happens at second base. This is part of your system, Carmen. So if COVID-19 changed anything, tools might change, principles never do. You just find a different tool for that principle. Base 3 is the follow-up. Yes, that's right. That's that call 15 minutes later after they saw the video. What did you like best about that video, Carmen? You're soliciting a positive response. Now, the other thing is, if you're used to face-to-face, if they have an Apple phone, ask them if you can FaceTime them. Talking to them on video is more powerful. But if they only want an audio call, that's fine. But you go to third base with a video call, an audio call. Do that. If they have Zoom, fine. And then you answer any questions that they might have. And keep it simple. After they told you what they like about it, ask them, how much money would you want to earn with this? Now you are in a very powerful position right there, because it's a little gutsy, but that's okay, because they already told you something positive about your video. Because when you ask the question, what did you like best about it? You're soliciting a positive comment, a positive viewpoint from them, and they're going to give it to you. How much money would you like to earn with this? Or can you use extra money? Yeah, sure. So to make this worth your while, then how much money right now would you like to earn with this? Well, right now, just, times are a little tough. So, if I can get an extra $2,000 coming in, that would be awesome. Great. Wonderful. And then how much time in your schedule could you commit to this every week? And if they tell you 5 hours, great. How many months could you commit to this doing 5 hours a week? How many months could you commit to realize that $2,000 of residual income coming in into your home, into your family? How many months would you be willing to commit? They say, well, I'd like to see it all happen within 3 months. Fine. That's reasonable. Are there any other questions that I need to answer right now, Carmen, before you get started? See, the assumption that she's getting started, but I'm telling her to get started. No, I think you've answered. Great. You know what, Carmen, I look forward to working with you. We're going to have a lot of fun and make a lot of money together. This is going to be exciting. So let's go ahead and let's get you enrolled right now. And this is the products that you'll start with, because this is what they're fantastic. Love these products. And so what we're going to do is put your order together and get you started right now. I'll work with you. Don't worry about any questions you might have. That's what I'm here for, to help you. I just want to run with you and help you. You won't be doing this alone. Again, we're going to have fun together. You got to keep it. And so here's the thing, Carmen. That's your system. You know, we say the word system, we want it to sound so sophisticated and intelligent because, you know, we're supposed to be sophisticated and intelligent when in fact we're really not, because it doesn't require all that. There's not, you know, anything super special about what we do. We promote what we love. Anybody can do that. If you have to be special to do this, you're in trouble. You're not going to have that big of a team. Okay, so duplication depends on simplicity and just a few steps. Otherwise, it will never work. And so when I go back to, Carmen, when I go back to 21 years ago, when I started 21 years ago, in 90 days, starting without a downline, in 90 days, I had 800 people in my team. Simplicity, few steps. That was my system. I never deviate. And the people that do just want to sell you something. That's it. That's your upline, wanting to sell you tools. That's right. You don't need that. Follow those bases and again, home, by the way, after third base, answering all their questions and all that, bring them in home, sign them up, enroll them, and place their order. And understand too, that when you enroll somebody, that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. So don't party too long, okay? Understand that you got to do something with that person, get something positive happening with that person, their first 72 hours, their first month in the business, or you could lose them. So there you go. And then that's right, Emily says, even if you got a script. Yeah, so the thing is, keep those thoughts in mind. I'm being paged by my wife to come to the kitchen anyway for a late dinner. So everyone, have a good night. And I'll put out some value this weekend. Have an awesome weekend and be safe, okay? Talk to you later.